Paulino Nunes é cada vez mais um rosto familiar nos pequenos ecrãs e nas grandes telas, integrando o elenco de várias séries de televisão canadianas e em filmes como Brooklyn, nomeado para vários Oscars. Este ator luso-canadiano é normalmente escolhido para representar personagens de origens mediterrânicas, eslavas e árabes, o que reflete a ambiguidade étnica dos portugueses aos olhos do público norte-americano, que, no entanto, têm se tornado mais visíveis nesta indústria cinematográfica em anos recentes.
We are grown men of not. We can speak plainly.
Looking at the industry as it was 24, 25 years ago, it probably would have been a better idea for me to just change my last name and have some sort of generic name, because when people don't know who you are and they see that name, they kind of peg you as some sort of ethnicity. They might not be sure what it is, because people don't jump to Portuguese right away. They do more so now. People are more aware of the Portuguese community.
Now, the misunderstanding is that you think you can talk to me like you're a solid citizen. Like you have rights.
It was frustrating to know that there were things that were not available to me necessarily because of that quirk of, well, we need a very kind of white bread, kind of leading man, chiseled features kind of look.
Is there a problem here?
I'd love to play more Portuguese characters, because I understand it so well. And if there was something that was written that was, where that was an integral part of the character, then I think I could bring something to that someone who doesn't have my experience could. In a perfect world, I wouldn't necessarily play any Middle Eastern characters or any Italian characters or Greek characters. But that's not the world that we live in, and more than anything, I'm pleased with my versatility. I think it's not just because of the way that I look that I can slide into these things.
Nascido na Ilha do Faial, Paulino emigrou com a sua família para Toronto em 1969, quando tinha apenas 2 anos de idade. Enquanto jovem, Paulino teve pouco contacto direto com a comunidade portuguesa, o que contribuiu para o seu progressivo afastamento da sua identidade étnica. No entanto, as suas raízes culturais foram crescendo ao longo dos anos, servindo hoje de alicerce à sua autoapreciação, em grande parte assente nas memórias das viagens que fez aos Açores.
We went back a couple of times in the first few years after we moved here, and we had a fantastic time. So the memories of it were wonderful, and I loved that. But there was something about my experience here that colored my perception of the culture there, because it was through the filter of my parents' world and their worldview, and it was something that I struggled against. It was very conservative. Then I finally went back in 1996. It was a good 15 years, which was a long time, and that was a really important trip. I stayed for about 5 months. I took some time off. I wanted to, just to kind of re-energize. I'd been out of school for 4.5 years or so, and it's a tough slog. The acting business is not for the faint-hearted, and spending that 5 months there was a really important formative time for me. I guess what's most important about the Portuguese culture to me is really the sense of family and occasion and celebration. It's something that I remember very vividly and that I love the most when I think of my times back in Pico, were the times when people would gather for meals, and the food, and listening to music and people playing guitars and standing on the shoulders of this massive volcano. You can't not be affected by that. There's something about that nature and the connection to nature from my family in that island that is probably kind of the central part of what I think of as my identity.